Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Hello, oh shit! Everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day.
What?
Um, oops! I forgot to fucking mute the site. Now everyone fucking heard it like twice. It's like repeating. Wait, why am I hearing myself? What the fuck? What was I hearing myself from? Okay. All right. You know what? Let me just flip the fucking screen. Like I've never done a podcast stream, but okay. So I'm Sameep, guys. This is a new podcast channel that me and my friend Samir and I have created. We I go by Sameep. He goes by Samir, but we can also go by Sam and Sam. I don't know. How did you want to go by it, Samir?
I'm cool with Sam.
Okay, that's fine with me. So we've known each other for a very long time, and we kind of decided that we want to do a podcast. Actually, he brought up the idea that he wanted to do a podcast. It came off the idea of me starting streaming on Twitch and stuff on my channel. And we're just like, we like playing games and stuff, so we want to share the ideas with you guys. And we want to share that passion too, because I mean, we grew up playing all these kind of games, and we're kind of in a similar field of what we study, and we kind of relate to that, so we want to share that with you guys. And so today we're going to be talking about like a whole list of topics that we kind of came up with like over the last month or so. I think it's been a month, hasn't it, that we've been like planning this out?
It's been a minute,
dude. I know it's been a while, but it's been in the planning, and it took some time to get it together because we don't want to have it like kind of like dumb or like like on the fly, because it's not easy to do. So that's why we did take our time to plan it out. So our first topic is going to be Cyberpunk 2077. So I don't know if you want to start us off with that or not, Samir.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sure you guys have all heard about this video game that's just absolutely killer. The two new trailers came out a few weeks back. The Life Path trailer, which is absolutely amazing. So it breaks down the 3 different classes you can go through when you're playing the game. So Nomad, Corporate, and Street Kid. You definitely gotta check it out if you haven't seen it already. They posted it up on their YouTube channel. And then they also dropped the Tools of Destruction trailer, which is also like all the weapons that they have, all the different types of weapons. I heard that they were actually spending a lot of extra time on the game just to kind of fix the melee system, so I'm really looking forward to that. One thing that I wish more video games take advantage of is like the melee systems like are really super basic, especially when it comes to sword combat.
Yeah.
A lot of FPS games, they don't invest, I guess, enough into like really just building more functionality in that. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity. So I'm hoping that, at least based on the trailer, it seems like you can kind of hold your weapon back and you can kind of strike down and like that type of thing, at least if you have the sword. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
Dude, I agree with you on that. It's just like I know that we're talking about like the trailers and stuff, but like I don't know if you heard about like how if a melee system in a game isn't like up to par with what they want, it's kind of means like it's kind of behind. And the thing is, if it's behind, that probably means that there might be another delay. So, that kind of leads into the next part of this, which is that the actual official Twitter account for Cyberpunk 2077 has been literally teasing or memeing about another delay in general, which a lot of people don't want. Some people may be fine with, some people may not be fine with. But like, it's, I mean, like, I don't know how that would turn out for them, because if you're going to make fun of something and then it happens, I don't know what the reaction will be. Because that this game has been in development for almost like what, 8 years now. They teased it back in like 2012, 2013, I think. And we got The Witcher 3 and we got the expansions, which are literally their own games from The Witcher 3. And I don't know if they were working on the game while they were working on The Witcher 3 and its expansions, maybe small amounts of the game, maybe. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I think that this game is going to do really well when it comes out. It's just that the fact that right now no one knows if it's going to get delayed or not, because many other things are being delayed, and it's because of the pandemic, all the stuff that's going on, developers from working from home.
Yeah.
But yeah, like going back to what you're talking about though, the trailers that highlight the stuff, the different the paths that you can take, the street kid, nomad, the corporate. Honestly, I personally always play the game as a good guy. I know that corporate is technically one of the the antagonizing starting points, so I'm probably not going to start that personally. Probably I'm personally probably going to start the street kid. So that's what I'm feeling. I don't know. What about you? What do you think? What's your opinion on like the whole situation right now?
I kind of feel similar. I think that's the path, at least in the first trailer that came out. I think that's a path that they chose to
Yeah.
show us. So I think that's like kind of a default that you kind of think of. That's how you thought about the game. So I didn't,
Hmm.
I didn't realize they're going to do the life pass. So that's probably going to be my option too. I actually think this is one of the few video games that I might actually replay, which is something that I really don't do. But I think because of the level of depth and complexity,
Hmm.
actually really enjoyable to do that.
No, it is. I mean,
I just go ahead.
no, no, go ahead, finish.
So I was gonna pivot to another. I mean, it's related to it, but we're related to COVID and the game development with this video game. I think that I guess what people aren't really considering is COVID-19 is disrupting the traditional game development process. They're
Hmm.
meeting in person and they collaborate, and they probably have these like systems they use for their processes. Like, okay, this is the part of the game we're going to work on, and that dynamic totally shifts when you have to move all of your workflow online and remote. So I think that is like kind of damaging a lot of the development cycle or the development path for a lot of video games like Deathloop. They just got delayed, and they're all both also citing COVID.
Yes, exactly. I know I wanted to mention Deathloop, but I was probably going to mention it later on. But whatever. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, I know if you've been paying, if I mean, if you've been paying attention to the news and everything in the game development industry, there's tons of things that are going to be delayed, especially with coronavirus and all the stuff that's going on. And it's it's not as easy as it is to develop a game at home when you have you're doing a lot other things, you're getting distracted by many things, and like you don't have all the tools there. I mean, when you're doing game development, you need a lot of like hardware and stuff to develop these games, especially these big AAA games. And Cyberpunk, being one of these big AAA games that's going to be coming out like very soon, hopefully, you know, um, it's hard. So, if there's a delay, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised by it. Like, it's probably expected to happen. But I'm really looking forward to playing it. Like I'm so excited to play that game. I've been waiting for it. I know you have. I know a lot of my friends have. Um, and I mean, I have really high hopes for the game, like from what I see. Coming off The Witcher 3, CDK Project Red is being held very high to a very high standard now. Um, Basically their games have inspired many other developers to change how they build games, as in
Yeah.
like quest design and all these designs of the games. So you know I mean, I personally think that this game will probably be pretty game changing. I do not, I like to keep my expectations really high, but I know that having the expectations really high uh, is a very bad thing because they can get destroyed really really easily. So you know um yeah, that's what I have a little. That's my 2 cents on Cyberpunk's current situation right now. But the game itself, like the play style and the aesthetic and the look of it, dude, it looks phenomenal. Like it looked even better from what they showed originally, like the newer trailers of the game. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw, like it looks cleaner, it looks sharper, and it looks just much more smoother. I remember seeing a GIF of the. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, my friends probably know this, but like I love gore. Like I enjoy gore in games. I love dismemberment. I love the physics systems in games.
Oh,
It sounds so messed up, but like, dude, when it looks realistic, I love that, man. And in the preview that we saw, where the guy was shooting a, I don't know what type of gun it was, but when he was shooting it, when V was shooting the gun, so that's the main character, but when he was shooting the gun, you could see the live dismemberment happening in like slow motion because I think someone made a gif of it, and you could see the dude's body parts, like literally his arm and his legs fall off.
yeah.
And I was just like, dude, this is gonna be awesome. Like, I love that kind of stuff, man. But I don't know. What are you looking forward to on this?
I think I'm looking forward to. Do you remember the trailer that they released? It was like an extended um, cut with the developer, like interview or something, where they like show, okay, we can replay this moment in this person's life or whatever for that scene for that character that dies, and you kind of walk through exactly. So when it comes to like that replay camera that they got, that was
Yeah.
really cool. I think it might actually be one of the best replay cameras that I've seen in a video game.
Hmm.
So that's definitely hype. Um,
I know what you're
the other
talking
thing
about.
is, I guess the animations look legit. The guns all look phenomenal. It looks like they really put a lot of thought into that aesthetic that they want to create. And I think one thing that's kind of key that a lot of game developers might forget is consistency in like the world, and then also with the guns, and also like with the clothing and stuff. So that aesthetic is something that I'm really glad that whoever graphic designers they have, I think are doing a phenomenal job for
Yep.
this
A
for
very,
CD Projekt Red.
very good job. I mean, those are other things I'm looking forward to. I remember what you're talking about. I remember, are you talking about like the ice bath thing where you like sit down inside it, and wasn't it they brought one of the dead characters back to life that was in there, or was it the scene where they were when he was trying to rob the store? It was in the newer.
Yeah, so the scene where when the dude is trying to rob the
Yeah.
store, and then you see what his point of view was, and then you can kind of like break it down from multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
I don't know what level of depth they're going to provide. It just there's a lot of hype around this video game because of the level of complexity they're presenting is
Mhm.
like pretty cool, and then just like the aesthetic they're building, the world building looks amazing. So definitely potentially game of the year.
Oh yeah.
We're just hoping that I guess, they follow through with it.
Yeah.
I think they
Uh,
will.
I agree with you on that. Like, I mean, it definitely looks like the game that will definitely. I honestly, I think it's going to deliver what people are expecting it to deliver. Why did that pop up? But sorry, some random crap popped up on my screen. But yeah, like I feel like this game is going to do really well. Like when it comes out, I think it will. Even if there's a delay, it's probably going to do extremely well. I mean, I have really high hopes for it, so that's probably another reason that I'm looking forward to it or hyping it up in my head. But with that being said, our next topic is going to be about Ubisoft and the sexual misconduct scandals, and all this stuff that's been going on at Ubisoft that we've been hearing. There's a lot of these big changes coming to Ubisoft, and personally, Ubisoft is I would say they're a good studio. They make, in my
It's a
opinion,
bold
they
statement. Very good studio. Jeez.
okay, I gotta take that back. You're right. So they're okay. In a sense of games, there are some really good games that they make. Okay, but they're, in my overall opinion, as the studio, yeah, like all the stuff that's coming out about them does not put them in a good light. Um, from the executives, like what is it, like basically changing game like genders or like trailers right last minute because they don't think a woman will sell well, or they're abusing their power to basically you know not get ahead, but like they're trying to abuse people that work there that are underneath them, especially women. All this stuff has recently come out, and this crap is like building up on them, and it's been constantly building up. I don't know if you heard about it, Samir, but I forgot his name. His something Ishmael or something. He was the lead director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Mhm.
And he he basically was directing the game, and he was very excited for it. I remember following him on Twitter. I follow a lot of game developers on Twitter, because I try to talk to them and see what they're doing in the field. Now he's pretty big, so I just see his tweets and stuff, and I remember he was looking forward to working on the game after it was announced, and you find out that he's been having internal issues where he's been using his power to talk to women, even though he is a divorced man. And there's a big debate on it because he his technically his personal life started mixing in with his work life, and Ubisoft let him go. Basically, he stepped down, and then like a few weeks later, he was fired, or like they let him go. And like, I don't know if you heard about that. Do you know anything about that?
I briefly looked at some of the news stories. I didn't go in as much detail. I think you have a lot more experience. I stopped playing the Assassin's Creed games, and I didn't really enjoy Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
I couldn't get through Watch Dogs 1 or 2.
yeah,
So my experience with them is they used to make really good games, but I feel like they have the problem that Halo does right now,
mhm.
where they've just ridden the game series into the ground. That's what I feel with Assassin's Creed games,
Yeah.
at least.
I see what you mean. Like, I mean, okay, like personally, like I did not play an Assassin's Creed game up until Origins released. When
Mm.
Origins came out, I was like, this looks interesting. It looks cool. Let me give it a try. I had a friend that recommended it to me. And that's the same year I built my PC. I was like, why not try it out? It's another game to try it on my PC and see how it goes. And in my personal and honest opinion, I had an awesome experience with it. Just because it was a change of pace from traditional Ubisoft to or traditional Assassin's Creed games to something new. Because the thing is, with games, you have to innovate and you have to change ideas and you have to morph gameplay in certain things for not just for the future, but also to bring in new audiences. Appeal to different people. Try new things. And the Origins, honestly, it was a very different game from what Assassin's Creed formula is. It was they honestly they should have, in my opinion, I think they should have gotten rid of the Assassin's Creed title and made it a different name, maybe a branch
Mm.
name, because it honestly didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. They talked about elements of Assassin's Creed in it, but like it was not a major focus. The hidden blade and all that stuff was gone. They brought it back in a DLC and all that, but like, um, you know, they're phenomenal games. I know that we're a little I sidetracked on that, but like Ubisoft itself, I didn't expect this kind of studio. This studio has been through their games. You can see the messages that they're trying to send. They're trying to send positive message. Progressive movement messages sometimes. They're like you can tell that from the games that they create, they're trying to do some positive changes within just like the game community itself, like the people that play
Mm.
it. Now, the thing is, Ubisoft itself doesn't reflect those changes. They have all these misogynistic views that are basically in basically what's been coming out about Ubisoft, these higher ups being fired and stuff.
Yeah,
And I don't know what's your opinion on that right now?
I think you're probably right. It's there's hypocrisy there, clearly.
Yeah.
If you look at, maybe at least in my experience playing some of the Watchdog games, they kind of hint at the fact that trying to rebel against the system. And Ubisoft, you could argue, is a major game corporation right now, and they are the part of the system, a big part of the system,
Yeah.
and they're kind of perpetuating these issues, which is just kind of funny. Uh, but I don't exactly know. So they've had some good. I will give them credit. They've made some really phenomenal games, like in the past, like Far Cry 2. Um, I enjoyed Far Cry 3 as well.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6, I'm really looking forward to, because they have the actor from Breaking Bad in it who's going to star. So that looks phenomenal. The trailer looks amazing. So I mean, they have some like upcoming titles which are interesting, which is going to attract a lot of people. But I think that when it comes to like developing new titles, that's a problem they have. Like what they do is like with Watch Dogs, like they come up with this one title and they just like run with it. I don't think they're taking as many chances as they may have when they're early into development of their studio. compared to now. I mean, like For Honor was a good example of a video game that could have been so much more than it was. So I think that I wish they just took more chances with their video games instead of sticking with the same video game series.
No, I agree with you. I mean, that's a problem with a lot of studios. I mean, Ubisoft not just the one, that sticks to the same series to like milk it and get more money out of it. You know, of course, they probably already knew that this is not an Assassin's Creed game when they were making it, but they added that title on because it sells because it's an Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed game. Um but yeah, man, like the issues itself that are going on, I mean, they're definitely not reflecting themselves in their own personal studios. Like you
it's going to affect their brand, and that's going to affect the bottom line.
yeah,
And if they have enough like corporate folks there, the administrators, I think probably like similar to some university institutions, they probably have a lot of administrative bloat going on
yeah,
within these game corporations now,
yeah.
where it's like the MBAs come in and they're like, hey, how are we gonna maximize our income? Hey, we got to add this, loot system, or we got to add this system where people can kind of pay to get these perks or these skins, or you pay to win if you want to really take it to the extreme level.
Yeah, and tangent to this because part of the reason that Ubisoft has become the topic at the moment with all this going on is because they don't think that a a game with a female lead would sell, and you have games that are doing so well where it literally disproves that. You have Horizon Zero Dawn, you have The Last of Us. These games are doing phenomenal. I mean, they're amazing. They're really well done. Their games are stories are pretty top notch. Last of Us Part Two is an amazing game. There's a lot of controversy around it, but like a great lead character, a well developed, deep personality. Is a very entertaining game. And it's just not true. Like I don't believe that like just because you do not have a white male gendered character leading the game it's not going to sell. Like, of course, like it doesn't. It's just the appeal of the game itself. Like what you really want to do. So, um, but yes. With that being said, I'm going to take it to our next topic, and
Wait, so one thing to note, just because we want to be as factual as possible, it's possible that that rumor was some fake news. I just
oh
looked it up, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if many other game studios are really perpetuating that.
yeah, I did not know that actually. Did you just see that?
Yeah, I saw it on Screen Rant. I'm just looking at some headlines. I wanted to make sure
Okay.
because you know how these things can get spread, and
Yes. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
did have one
I know how
question.
like quickly false news can spread easily, especially on Reddit and stuff, and like how it becomes like a big topic. Um,
Yeah, so let's just be cautious about that. We can double check, and
yep.
maybe on our next episode we can verify that.
Yeah. So next time when we do a next episode, we'll make sure to verify that information and make sure that's exactly what was said or what was the idea behind it. But what do you think about the new Xbox and PlayStation systems?
Um, so I'm really hype about it, and they still haven't released the prices for these systems.
Yeah.
Actually, let's take a pause because we did have a question in the chat. What about indie games having microtransactions? Ooh, that's a good question. What do you think about that? I'm
Okay.
I'm
Let
on the
me
fence
ask.
about that. You do microtransactions. You hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, my bad. I'm on the fence about that. I think it's how they go about it. I mean, do you consider microtransactions to be skins? Is that a part of it? Right?
Personally, yes, like microtransactions can be anything that is a paid, like using real money to get something in a game. That's technically a microtransaction. So, yes, if you are wanting to buy a skin in a game, it's a microtransaction. But now, as Samir was saying, yeah, it's the approach that they take. There are some games that do microtransactions pretty well. Like, they handle it really well. It's not greedy. And it's easy, it's fair. It's not like a bad thing. I don't know about indie games because I don't know Are there actually indie games that have microtransactions? Because that's a good, interesting topic to talk about.
I think very few of them actually do,
Hmm.
and I think that's because generally what you see for indie games is like more of a minimalist approach, right?
Yeah.
In terms of game design,
Yep.
right? And that's I think an attractive feature that people really find cool is because they have less to work with. They have less developer time. They can commit to this. Less people on the staff, and then also less time. I mean, collectively, that you can commit to a project. So that means like you might not have the resources to develop this microtransaction system. You're focusing on, okay, how am I gonna basically, this game is going to be my hook, because a lot of the time it's the first video game that they're releasing. I think Hollow Knight was like a good example of like a really good indie game that I like, for one of my personal favorites, that didn't have any like microtransaction stuff. In general, you don't find microtransaction systems embedded within indie games. And I think if there was more of a business motivation, then there probably would be.
Yep. Uh, yeah. Like, I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, it just depends on what the motivation is. And the thing is, typically, indie games are small games developed for with small studios in order to portray some type of message, art, some form of story too, and to get that across. And typically, indie games now are getting, bigger and bigger and bigger. They're getting more complex. Um there are very actually, yeah, like heck Goose just said, Devolver Digital with Fall Guys. They have I think they have a battle pass system. And that's an indie game studio. That's an indie development studio.
Wait, so they have a battle pass for their Fall Guys
I
game?
think so. I think that's what I heard. I don't have the game. I know I have friends. Some of those are my, like, not Micro and Heck Goose. Those are some of my friends. They actually have the game. And it's a free battle pass. Oh, it's a free battle pass.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I did not know that. But in my honest opinion, if it's a game that is being developed and it's going to be supported for a very long time, I understand having certain microtransactions like skins is okay. You know, not I'm not a big fan of like those shortcut things, buying like credits and stuff,
Yeah,
buying
I
money.
think
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was I was trying to think of like probably what is the this is a good question. Like what is the um, most successful indie game that has done microtransactions? Or you can argue from a bunch of things. I don't know how many of these companies actually release their financials, and like you can kind of guess how much money they're making. But I think one example would be Candy Crush. I guess
Hmm.
Candy Crush, the game developer king, would technically fall under like an indie game studio.
Wow.
And as far as I know, with Candy Crush, like in order to like play extra or something like that, I didn't play Candy Crush, but I knew a lot of people who did. But you could kind of pay for stuff that so the microtransaction system was, I think, integrated within the game. I think at release or really close to release.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, oh, you said you can earn all of the in-game currency in game two, but it's optional to buy, plus it's only cosmetics. Okay. Okay. So like, yeah, I mean, with what you just said too, like, um, yeah, like, buying the currency, and like, there's a difference between buying a paid currency that you can't get in the game, but then also if there's a game that gives it to you, that's okay. But like, it also depends on the rate that you're getting that currency and how you're getting it. And the thing is, it's just all based on like what the studio is technically trying to do. Of course, at the end of the day, an indie game studio is technically considered to be a small studio trying to develop a game. To share it with people that have a niche. It's like a niche. Basically, it's, I don't know. Is what would you say it would be a niche? Like a niche kind of game where, like, people come to just experience this one element of a game, or is it more just to appeal and make money off that too?
It's probably like in terms of appeal, people appeal to certain niches. I mean, I feel like the old retro style video games. Like you have indie game studios that are
Hmm.
remaking games. You have indie game studios that are kind of appealing to this old school game aesthetic.
Yeah.
So it's different things, but generally, at least on Steam, and obviously that's going to be probably not representative of all indie studio games in general. But at least for Steam, like you see less of this occurring, this microtransaction systems occurring for like indie games on Steam.
Yeah.
At
I
least the really
mean,
popular ones.
yeah. Definitely agree with you on that. But to keep on track, um, let's bounce back to your opinion on the Xbox and PlayStation systems. What are you gonna go with?
So,
What
dude,
are
I
you
was
feeling?
checking out, and you guys gotta check this out if you haven't. Like, just look at the specs for the new PlayStation and specifically the controller, and compare it to the Xbox new Xbox controller, and it's like it like destroys, it like blows it out of the water. Which kind of tells you, and this is a part of the approach that Xbox is going with, which is like not so much like system specific approach. It's like a non specific approach where they're trying to build this whole um, I guess cross-platform series. You
Yeah,
know, like on the PC, they're trying to like have that, and like you can play anywhere you want, and that type of vibe they're trying to build. So it's not like you're stuck with that specific console. You can play it on your PC as well. Their Xbox Store, or whatever they call it. So it's like a different approach, but I don't know how successful it's going to be. I mean, it was clear that if you, at least if you like the head-to-head battle, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, that PlayStation 4 was the victor for that.
oh yeah.
Specifically considering if you look at it from a standpoint of sales, probably for the Xbox exclusives versus the PlayStation exclusives, I think PlayStation fared way better. Now,
It,
Nintendo came in and
yeah.
they destroyed both of them, but
Oh, did you say
let's
Nintendo
not talk
destroyed
about
both of
that.
them? I think you cut out. What did you say, Samir?
I said Nintendo came in there and destroyed both of them, but let's not
Oh,
talk about
okay.
that.
Okay. Um, I mean, I don't personally. I've never played Nintendo games like that much. Also, I think some your cameras are freezing up a little bit occasionally. Um, and
Let me see.
I think you're good though. I think you'll be all right. I think it's fine now. It was just
Okay.
for a second, but just tell me you don't like anime. Uh, yeah, Matthew. I'll try it again. We'll watch Megalobox. Uh,
Dude, you don't like anime?
I
What's wrong with you?
I don't
We got a
mind.
meme on our
Okay,
hands over here.
see, like yesterday, I was playing GTA and I was trying to simultaneously watch it together and play GTA. And the thing is, I lost focus for 1 second, and then I got called out really badly for it because I didn't know what the hell was going on. Um, so yeah, but yeah,
You gotta pay attention to anime.
yeah,
You
I'm
can't
gonna
have it running in
we're
the side.
we'll watch Naruto too. We'll watch it all together, man. Actually, we can stream things on Twitch now. I think off Prime, I think as a thing, which is actually really cool. But that's a different topic. But with Xbox and PlayStation, like Samir was talking about, um, I think what Xbox is really doing isn't they're not there. There's no competition anymore. Like, here's the reason that I think this, because PlayStation is doing what they were doing with PlayStation 4. They're carrying exclusives over. They're building a library. They already have a library, which is great. Their exclusive library is so like well done. Their games are all amazing. I mean, every game that has come out this generation, almost all their exclusive games are like really well done. Like they're top notch games. They're like they like sell really well. They comparing to like their last like major exclusive. They always beat one another. And the thing is, what I see is that these two markets are what people can pick from. Like you can go with Xbox or you can go with PlayStation. It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to play the same games, but it just depends on what type of what will suit you more. The thing I see Xbox doing is that they're making a this was said by someone else. I remember it was a really good way of explaining this. They're making this new console. They're making the Xbox Series X, and they're going to make a smaller version of it, like a discless version. And what I think they're doing is they're selling this. Oh, like here you guys go. You can play games on this. It's like it's powerful. It's next generation, new hardware, more up to date with current standards of technology. Ray tracing and all that. But we're offering you this thing called Project X Cloud and Game Pass. Now, these two things are probably what's going to happen with a lot of games in the future is it's going to become streaming eventually. And probably, I don't know, not now, but far in the future, yes, when internet is so abundant and it's can spread out to everyone, you can share it, it's easy to access internet from like the most like dead dead zone in the world basically. So that way you're able to play a game on your phone that's of extremely high quality at max quality, like stream right to your phone. You can play it without any lag or delay. This is what Microsoft is doing now, just in order to basically jumpstart their future, basically with games. Um, and then on the side, they have the Xbox where you can just play the games you want. Maybe they're not going to be as optimized. Well, I'm going to say optimized. They're probably not going to be as on par as PlayStation. But the thing is, with PlayStation, they're doing the same formula. They're doing what they've already done really well, which is sticking to the formula of making exclusive games, pushing them out, getting them out to the people, letting them play what they want, letting them enjoy these games. And that's what I personally see that they're trying to do. Like there's no fanboy like, well, I mean you can be a fanboy still, but like there's no actual competition if that kind of makes sense. I don't know if you kind of agree with that. Do you see what I'm trying to get at?
They don't have any like IPs that are, I guess as you'd call it, that are really popping right now.
Yeah.
Like Halo is the only a game that might get people excited, but it let people down with the Halo Infinity trailer.
Yeah.
That mess. Um, so it's not looking good for Xbox right now. To
No,
be honest,
it's not. I mean, I mean, I hope that they can bounce back. I mean, all this Halo Infinite stuff. Halo Infinite got delayed. I mean, it's another topic that can be talked about for another podcast. But I just
they had
personally.
Gears of War, but now with the Epic Game Store, that's gone.
Oh wait, what
The
happened?
creator left. They used to have Gears of War. That used to be an Xbox exclusive at one point, right?
Yeah.
So they used to have Halo and Gears of War. Those are two major titles.
Yeah. I mean,
They lost their major titles.
they don't have exclusives. Like, yeah, that's a problem. That is very true. They don't have exclusive, and they do really need to focus on that in order to beat out their competition, which is Sony for their PlayStation. That's what I see personally. I have always played on PlayStation. I'm probably gonna end up getting a PS5. What I do like about the Xbox is the fact that all next generation games for Xbox and exclusives and titles will come to the PC, even if it's eventually, which I am totally fine with because my main station and go-to thing that I play on is my PC. I love I enjoy all these other games from other companies and other studios. They're awesome. But what are you gonna get? What do you think you're gonna stick with? Are you gonna just stick with PC or are you gonna go with Nintendo? Because Nintendo, I don't know what they're doing at the moment, but I know that they're probably gonna pull out something too. So
I don't think Nintendo is gonna release a new gaming system for probably at least a year or two. I
yeah,
might be wrong, but at least that's my feeling on it. I might get the new PlayStation. I think it's looking good with some of the exclusives they have, namely Deathloop. I'm really excited about. Um, so I I think I'll probably definitely still stick with the PC though, and I'll probably get the new PlayStation, especially if they drop a new GTA.
yeah, dude, I could talk about Rockstar and like all this stuff because I'm like
Dude,
really
that's gonna be
big.
next topic.
I hope we can do that. I don't mind. We can have a topic. We can do whatever you guys want. I mean, whatever people want to watch or like talk about. But
Yeah.
uh, I could talk about all the stuff with GTA and like the next thing that's coming up and like all the leaks and stuff and shut those down and all the rumors. Because I have a lot of this not insider knowledge, but I know a lot of these like detailed things about it. So um definitely down to do a podcast. I Nintendo Switch 2.0, maybe we'll see about that. SV, can you please play Manhunt? We will probably play Manhunt on there for sure. I know it's a very controversial Rockstar game. It's very old. I don't know how it would hold up today, but yeah. Um, I'm gonna keep on track though, and we're a little bit over time, but I mean, we got one more thing to talk about, and that
Yeah.
was, you know, the barrier to entry for consoles now. Like, um, no one. It's tangent. It's a tangent to this topic that we're talking about right now. We don't know the prices, and today I looked on Reddit and I saw a quote from Sony saying that they are most definitely going to be launching the console this year, which this year we only have what, August is over. We only have what, four more what? Yeah, 4 more months now. Um we don't know a price. Neither does the Xbox. Both of these guys have been waiting on one another for the announcement. We're supposed to get a new PlayStation stream and Xbox streams pretty soon, about this, and hopefully we know the prices then. But with that, we don't know the price of the consoles. We also don't know how they're going to handle game prices on release, because we know that some or game studios are going to put prices at $70. Some are sticking with 60. Some are going back on what they said and going from 70 to 60. So what's your opinion on this, Samir?
My opinion is it's real rough out here for a new gamer, for a young kid trying to get into gaming,
Yeah,
trying to
dude.
get into the latest and greatest new video games. It's looking real rough.
I mean, yeah.
uh, so that's the thing that people aren't considering. And yeah, I guess the excuse is that hey, they can just play the older game or get it out, buy it from GameStop.
Mhm.
Depending on how long GameStop even exists. Especially now with games going digital, that's another challenge to keep in mind for young kids that might not have a lot of money in their family. So it's just kind of a concern from like, okay, when we got into video games, going to a public school system, like we had a lot of my friends who are on food stamps and stuff, but that was like one thing we kind of had in common. Who a lot of them would play Nintendo, and we talk about GameCube, where we talk about these different games, talk about Smash Melee and all these different things. So I'm wondering how that's really going to change with like really you're pricing out so many people out of these new video games because they're getting more and more expensive. Now you're going to say these. I guess one excuse would be there's like natural inflation going on with a lot of products, but it's just something that I'm wondering what impact it's going to have. It's more and more expensive, and I don't know how I feel. I don't know completely how to feel about that. Because some of it I feel like. So I think we were talking about this before. Like you were saying that there is some justification in that, right? Because they're investing more and more resources into developing like heavy graphics in their video games. So that's going to take more development time, more computational resources to develop these games, and you're going to need like really smart people there, and you're going to pay them to make sure the game engine is really good. So that's one counter argument, but I'll pass it
There's
back to you.
Okay, so like I said, yes, of course there's two sides. There's always the outside where people don't see like exactly how game development works and like what it costs and how much work goes into it. And then there's the other side where, w- it's 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 just fucking expensive. It's too expensive. Like for a lot of people, people can't access all these games. Like there's some really great
Dude,
games.
especially in the times of COVID, man,
Yeah,
we're waiting for our next check over here.
I know, man. Like I totally
At
get
least
you,
like
dude.
the average American is.
Yeah, I don't know what the average American makes, but like, dude, $70. Basically, let's say every month you want to get a game. Basically, every month there's usually a game that releases every month. So basically, $70 out of your paycheck for one game at least a month. And then on top of that, maybe you're gonna buy microtransactions inside that game. I don't know how much it will be. So let's just say it's $10 more on top of that. So $80 a month. $80 a month for one video game is a lot of money. For a normal adult, that's a lot of money. For a kid, I don't know how they're going to get that much money. There's so many ways to get money for, I don't know what you're going to do, but you can get money. Yeah. But like, how are you going to be able to get that money? How are they going to be able to access it? There's easy ways to buy games now, digital download, buy it on the store, and all that. Yeah. It's a very controversial topic because, we can't dictate it. Only the developer, the publisher can, because the publisher is the one that sets prices, does the marketing, and all that. We have a couple of comments in the chat saying that if $70 is the game's cost, he's going to start pirating games. I don't normally play A's, but if those prices go up, more anime for your boy. Uh, I mean, yeah, man. Like, it's probably going to be a bigger problem in the future. Especially, it's going to lead to newer things where people are going to start pirating games more. People already do it, especially on PC. I mean, you can pirate it on console, but like it's a little bit more complex. But like the what is it called? The anti-piracy measures that development studios have put in the games now are more complicated and they're easier to
Mhm.
crack. But there are some really shitty ones out there too. There's games that come out on the day and of release and they get cracked really easily. There's only one studio that I can think of, and I know that this is going to sound extremely biased because I love them a lot, is Rockstar. They have the most complex anti tamper anti piracy software in their games to the point where it messes with the game while you're playing with it. I don't know if you heard about that. So I know in GTA 4, if you are to pirate the game and download a pirated copy of the game, when you drive and you play the game, your entire screen will just shake the whole time. And that's a measure that was put in by Rockstar. And you can't play the game properly. I know that they do this for all their games. Now, here is the thing. I am all for, change and progression and all that, but like game prices going up, maybe I understand some games it's okay for it to justify $70. Especially these big studios who release these phenomenal, like these well-developed games that have been taking years to make. That makes sense. Then you have these studios that release games every year and are trying to like take two. Is Take Two is the parent company of Rockstar, but like they also have Gearbox and all these other companies, and you have NBA 2K under them, and they were already trying to justify how NBA 2K is going to be a $70 game, and it's not even out yet. Like the next one isn't even out yet, and that game is riddled with microtransactions. Like it literally is like a slot machine kind of game at some point. Um, so yeah, like the barrier to entry of games are going to just keep going up all the time. Like it's always a cycle. And it 20 years ago, $50 was normal, like for a game. Like that's how much it would cost on like PS2 or whatever. Now it's gonna go up like what it was technically probably supposed to probably go up to 70 for PS4 and Xbox One. And it's probably supposed to go up to 80 for the next gen, but they didn't do that. And maybe this is the reason that we have some issues with microtransactions now because they're trying to reimburse or take that money back that they didn't gain out of that initial $60 profit from the games. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole situation right now. It can definitely change with all the stuff that's going on.
I think one way you can combat this is like I think a lot of people are realizing this with like I guess indie game publishers like Devolver Digital
Yeah.
that you don't necessarily need the latest and greatest game, the AAA game in order to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like indie game studios, like we're gonna plug this game studio for sure. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. Each podcast episode, we're gonna try to plug a indie game studio to just get them attention and hopefully get some sales going in that direction. Not gonna be sponsored in any way. We just like these video game studios, and we want to get other people to play their games as well because we enjoy it. So the game studio is called New Blood Interactive Game Studio. Definitely check them out. They are going to be putting out a new video game called Gloomwood, and they put out some sick titles, kind of like retro style titles that are really awesome to play. And these types of video game studios show you like an old school aesthetic that people still to this day are really enjoying. And it might not have like the Doom level graphics or what Halo Infinity level graphics, but they're still really enjoyable. So I think Nintendo has already I guess answered this argument. You don't need the graphics. So like the whole graphics drive that these game studios have been hustling for, it's not it's not going to sell the games.
Yeah. I mean, totally agree with you. Um, a game. at the end of the day is something, it's in your opinion what you like and what you don't like. It's something you get to enjoy and experience. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter if it's the worst game, or it didn't do really well, it didn't get great reviews, people don't like it. If you yourself like it, then play it. Like, it's something you can enjoy. I mean, I don't like certain games, but there are people that like them, and I don't have a problem with that. Like, in my opinion, I enjoy single player games over multiplayer games, but that doesn't mean that I hate them. I enjoy multiplayer games. Like, there's a lot of games that I don't mind playing. Um and yeah, at the end of the day, man, like, it's whatever you like. I mean, times will always change. There'll be something very different from like 10 years from now. There'll probably be some more annoying thing that will like overtake microtransactions as a topic. Like, that microtransactions, like, maybe like, it's, I'm not gonna lie, they're the studios and like all these development studios have basically been desensitizing us to microtransactions over the years. Like, it becomes normal, and and it's at the point, like, you're now, it's normal to say that a skin microtransaction is fine. Maybe like 5-6 years ago, people did not like skins as a microtransaction. People wanted skins as something you can earn in a game by doing a challenge. But like, you know, back to what I was saying though, like, at the end of the day, it's what you want to play, what you want to do with the game is what you're gonna.
I think that once microtransactions start getting in the way of like you really enjoying the game or you having fun with the game,
Yeah.
then that becomes a problem. So it's like this gray zone with it. Like it's not a black and white type of thing. If you implement it correctly, where it's like respectful, where it doesn't interfere with your gameplay and it doesn't seem like it's like overwhelming, the rest of the game,
Mhm.
um, then it's great. But like I said, there are, I guess, examples of it being done correctly, and then there are also examples of it being done
Very
completely
poorly.
just a scum, like just a scumbag game studio.
Yep. I mean, and that actually brings us to the end of the list. We have definitely gone a little bit more over time. I don't know. What do you think, Samir? What do you want to? You want to keep going, or do you want to?
I think it was good. I
Okay.
think we went through a lot of things, and I appreciate like some of the chat feedback and questions. That's
Yeah.
cool. Like I said, this is just a pilot.
Yeah.
Like we're trying this out. There's gonna be trial and error, and we'll hope you guys stick around.
Yeah, and man, like, I appreciate everyone that came in. I know literally all of them are like my friends that are in my Discord and stuff. So I definitely appreciate them. They're always there to support me on my Twitch channel and stuff too. So thank you guys for coming. I definitely appreciate the interaction that when you guys ask questions, that's actually really nice. Because it does help bring up new ideas that we haven't thought of. Like, the indie game studios having microtransaction was a really good question. I never thought of that. That was actually a really good question. Because I want to look more into that. And yeah, like, we like a little bit more about this though. Like, me and Samir don't know when, like, especially with school starting up now and like him being busy with work, and like he's in school too. Um, we don't know how consistently the podcast will come, but our plan is to do them monthly now. So like, it's maybe every month. So we have a couple weeks of planning so that it gets consistent. Um, and we do have another question actually. Do you guys think anything available through microtransactions should be available to earn through playing the game? Hmm. What do you think, Samir?
I think it depends. So like, uh, and this is something that was, I think, best articulated if you look at the Arcane video game documentary. Who's this? What's the YouTube channel that produces those
Oh,
documentaries?
no clip.
Samir?
No clip.
So check out No Clip's documentary on Arcane. And I think this is a good example of a game studio that, like, sometimes like the game developers are prevented from working on what they want because it's not profitable. Okay, so like you have to understand that like at the end of the day you need to pay the salaries of a developer, and sometimes so like one could argue that potentially game developers, especially indie game studios, could use microtransactions to basically fund the next project. and basically, add the additional funds for the develop to pay for the developer time. So like they have this a title that they've envisioned, but they just don't have the money, they don't have the backers, they don't have the support to actually do it. You could also do it through Patreon, but let's say that hasn't worked in the past for them, or they want more independence. So this could be a route for them to achieve that. So there is some merit of like, okay, microtransactions specifically like for special items that could only be obtained through that means, could allow them to basically do what they want as a result. Now, Arcane Game Studio didn't do this, but in the documentary, you'll see some of the issues that they had with funding and how they weren't able to really work on what they wanted to, and as a result, they had to partner with other game studios to basically contract out with them to do the work for them instead. So that kind of tells you like what goes on behind the curtain when it comes to the game development, which is kind of cool. But when you realize it, I think it comes back to like the gray zone principle.
No, I mean, like, what I think though is that, um, I don't know, like, I guess that it makes sense to. Okay, I actually just thought of this just now, but so I think what a good okay, maybe not everyone will agree with me on this, but like it just came to mind. GTA Online, the currency in that game, you can buy it or you can earn it in game by playing the game. GTA Online is technically it's going to be standalone when it comes to PS5. It's going to be its own game. It's supposed to be free too, which I mean it makes sense, because all the earnings come through the microtransactions that Rockstar makes off that. Um, and right now, what they've done with GTA Online is that they've been making updates every year to it, where like they update one time in the summer or mid year, and then one big update in the fall. And supposedly their next update in the fall is supposed to be their biggest one. It's supposed to bring a new location in the game. No one knows what it will be. I can talk about that elsewhere, but like the thing is that currency you're able to earn in game, and you're also able to buy it if you want to shortcut it. Now the thing is, you're technically able to earn that thing in the game. Like, to answer your question, yeah, you're able to earn that currency in the game, or you can buy it. And it's okay. But the thing is, personally, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on Twitch or whatever, but like, yeah, dude, I literally used player auctions, paid some dude $10 and gave me like $2 billion on GTA Online. So like, I never have to pay for anything. Like, I have like the money to use. Like, but like, I can't think of another game right now where you're able to earn the in-game currency, or let me see it, microtransaction. Like, maybe, yeah, that there is. Like, I know Assassin's Creed, I know that in the game you can go to a merchant, and if you have this specific in-game currency that you can earn throughout the game, you can spend it on that merchant, and that merchant will give you items that you can actually pay for on the store. That's one way that I've seen that work in some games. But the thing is, it's very hard and it's very grindy. So there's a trade-off. In my honest opinion, I there are some games that can probably implement it well, and this goes back to the topic of just microtransactions in general. Like Samir was saying, if you can implement it really well in a certain way, then it's okay. But if the studio or the development or the publisher that decides it, it can become extremely greedy, and it just doesn't appeal, and like you can just start losing money off that, probably just because you spent time developing that thing to sell. So that's what I think. Um,
I think
but
the simple answer is it depends on the implementation. So yes, but it depends.
yep, I should have just said that instead of like my whole like 10-minute explanation of whatever it
I
was.
do the same thing. It's easier to listen and then synthesize.
Yeah,
So I at least listen to you and I synthesize what you said.
I appreciate it though. See, this is like how this actually is pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this was actually really fucking fun, dude. Like, I actually had an awesome time doing this. And it's very fun because you get to
Yeah,
discuss
for
things
sure.
you like. And oh, by the way, I want to let everyone know, we are open to talk about other topics that you guys would like to hear in our next podcast. So episode 1, when we do another one, I I don't know, Samir. What do you think? You want to do another one? Do you want to just stop here and never do it
Yeah,
again?
I think this is fun, and I'm glad we got some like audience feedback. We might actually do it. I'm down to do it, earlier, so not in the next month, but like let's say 2 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
One of the cool ideas we had, and this is something you guys might get a kick out of, but like eventually we're gonna invite like indie game developers on, and if they're down to like come on our like small baby podcast, then that'd be awesome, and then we kind of interview them, and you guys can get their perspective on game design.
Yeah, definitely. So Heck Goose is asking when's the next stream. So I think what Samir said is a good explanation. Is probably in 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe not exactly a month. Maybe a little bit underneath, like within the month that we might do another one. The reason is we want to make it like this, where we talk about things, we let people to ask questions if they want. We can put our input on it. By the way, Samir, the 35-minute thing went way over the 35 minutes, so I don't
Oh
think we
yeah, I
should.
think we doubled.
But like, yeah, with we were planning to have 35 minute as the mark to finish, but like of course, we kind of tangent away, but we are able to come back on topic. So like we're trying to work on that because this is our first time ever doing it. Me and Samira used to like go to temple and everything. We used to do all this MC stuff everywhere, like we used to do. He probably I
We
know
used
that
to play video
he's
games
yeah.
like when we were 11 or 10 years old, like
Oh yeah,
for
like
hours
I've
at
known
night.
Samir basically since third grade. I actually talked about you yesterday in one of my other Discord, Samir. I don't know if you remember, but
That's awesome.
yeah, like I talked about. Remember when we are I don't when my family first moved to Indiana, and I remember your dad invited us over to your house for dinner. And that same day, I witnessed a shooting. And then that day, we had a car crash, and your dad came and picked us up. And I talked about that shit. And I was like, dude, this is the same guy I'm doing the stream with tomorrow. And I'm just like, yeah. So, yeah. So, like, me and Samir have known each other for a very long time. He's a really good friend of mine.
I'm
Um,
hoping we played GTA by City that day. You came over because
I
that would be the
remember that.
perfect
Dude, you
company.
don't. This is another thing. So all the people that are watching, like you guys know, I love GTA as like my favorite series of all time, and that was because I was deprived of it as a kid. Like my parents wouldn't let me play it. I'd go to Samir's house and he'd let me play it there, and then I got it taken away as a kid because I got in trouble for playing it because I put in a cheat code and like a naked lady popped up on there. So my parents saw it. I think you know what I'm talking about, Samir. Like
Whoa,
the
I didn't
the
hear this story.
the can so basically um
Yeah, yeah,
what was it?
I get it. I get it. You don't have to talk about it, but I get it.
No, yeah, so as a kid, my parents did not like me playing seeing well, almost a naked lady, but like they don't like me shooting people, doing that shit. Maybe that's why why I enjoy like gore and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, like I've known Samir for a very long time, and like it's actually really cool that we were able to do this. Like this is very fun, and I do plan on doing it again with him. Um, you know, we are about to start school pretty soon, so like that's another thing. I don't know how. I think it will be fine because are your classes online like for the semester?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it might be pretty easy. I have to go to campus one day a week, like literally for one class, but all my other classes are online and I have Monday through Thursday as my schedule. So, Friday is always a great day to do the podcast like we were doing and having meetings because it works out, I think, in that favor. Another thing is me and Samir are always open to doing not just game topics, but anything related to the field of computer science, computers, IT, you know, game, not just talking about games, but actually talking about the industry itself, like, like the game industry. So, whatever topics you guys want us to talk about, feel free to let us know. We actually probably should set up our own Discord at some point too, so that people can join that one too. And you can send it in the Discord if we ever. We'll probably set it up and we'll let you guys know. But like right now, you can probably send it to us on the Whisper on the Twitch messages if you want to let us know what topics to talk about next time. And also, yeah, our next stream will probably be in like 2 or 3 weeks, most likely. Oh, it'll just know that'll be probably within the month. When am I coming on? Dude, I
We'll
mean,
bring you on one day,
yeah, dude,
Goose, for sure.
if you really want to come on to the podcast, just let me know. Uh just bear in mind, I don't know, how do you want to like have a requirement where people have to like have their camera to talk? or is it cool if they
It
keep the audio?
doesn't matter. We'll maybe we'll do that on like the third episode or something when we get like everything kind of set up correctly. But for sure, dude, we'll schedule it with you. I'm hoping we'll add the dates in the schedule for the channel, so you'll know when the next one is, and we'll also add the Discord link so you can join that, and you'll know when the next thing is.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for like, the honestly the engagement. We appreciate it at Goose.
Yeah, man. Actually, thanks everyone that was here. Even if you're a viewer,
Mhm.
thank you for being here. Like it actually means a lot. This is our first podcast. Never have done one. I know I stream on Twitch, but it was very different. And we are always open to new ideas. This would be a start of something new. It'd be very cool. We're also maybe thinking about recording these and putting them on YouTube. I didn't record this one, but like maybe in the future, we're able to record it as we can stream. I can do that, but like if that's something you guys want to see, where you can go back to the podcast and watch them again, we're probably gonna do that. We're probably gonna upload them to a YouTube channel because we have an account on like literally everything for this podcast that we made. And we're happy to be able to share this with you guys and just talk about it just for fun because we all enjoy doing the same thing. So with that being said, I think this is a good time to stop. And yeah, anything
Alrighty, peace,
else?
everyone.
Any closing notes? Do you have anything else to say, Samir?
No, I don't got anything else to
Okay.
say. I think it was fun.
Yeah, for sure. Post Voz, play PT already, Goose. Yeah, actually, Noah, go play PT, man. Bye bye, bro. Thank you for coming, man. And actually, thank you all for being here and have a good one and peace out.
Peace.